All right, there now. If I keep having technical difficulties tonight, it's gonna be this time. It's all me. It's not my internet yet. We'll see how tonight goes. I was just trying to figure out where I was in the book because I forgot that I wrote it down, and I did write it down, so that's good. Let's see here. So how's everybody doing tonight? Again, this is Tomes of Isolation. This is our once a week Tuesday night show where somebody, sometimes John, sometimes me, sometimes other people that we capture and put in the hot seat will be able to go through a one-person solo adventure, usually created by the company that has made the game. We have some other stuff in store in the future that we've been talking about and looking at. But right now, we have been focusing primarily on Call of Cthulhu solo adventures because Chaosium has released a number of them. 2 weeks ago, John did Alone Against the Flame.
Yes, flames.
Flames. Alone Against the Flames. And his solo adventurer got burnt the heck up. And then he was alone against the flames and he did not survive. What was his name? Gentry.
Oh, you came up with the name.
I did. It was Gentry somebody or other. I really don't remember. Gentry McSomething. But in addition to that, tonight, last week, I guess, we started Alone Against the Frost, which is a modern updating, or it's not modern, forgive me. It is an updated version of a 1985, I believe, solo adventure called Alone Against the Wendigo. And due to some insensitive terminology and use of the term Wendigo, Chaosium had updated that, and now it's Alone Against the Frost. And I was playing a college professor, an anthropologist, Dr. Elsie Nadelman, and I was leading a small team of students and a guide into, I don't even remember what part of the country we were in. I keep looking for a book, like I have a book. I was actually pulling it up when the show started. So let me see here. I don't remember what part of the country it is. We are in North America. Are we in Canada? Are we in the northern...
You're definitely in the north central.
North central Canada area? I feel like I was in like Saskatchewan or something. Let me see. It's cold. We've been there a while. We started in the summer, and it ended up going into the autumn. We had a lot of internet issues last week here. Hopefully those are all sorted out. I'm hoping that we can get through this without any issues. But excuse me, bear with me one moment while I pull up the book. I'm in the folder. There it is. I get really frustrated because my OneDrive does not sort alphabetically, and it bugs me. This is for... We have done a lot of Call of Cthulhu lately, and that was not the one. Let's see. Maybe it's in this folder.
You remember where it is?
I'm finding it. I was in the wrong area. Books to use. There we are. Alone Against the Frost. Open in Acrobat, because Acrobat makes at least this oh so much better. Maybe. There we are. So, yes, sorry about that. Thank you for bearing with me. Hey Papin, how you doing? Sounds like you're doing good. That's good. Again, yes, we're doing Alone Against the Frost, a solitaire adventure in Canada's wilds by Glenn Rahman with Gavin Inglis. Let's see here. So yes, we're in the Northwest Territories of Canada. I do have written down where we left off. As a quick recap, we did I made some choices. Again, this is a show where you can participate and you can help direct the things that I do. Here in the adventure, I will always offer up what's going on and the choices that are available to me. And we will, apparently my name is Lauren. You can play either, but there's a picture here of Lauren Nadelman. Anyway, sorry, I got sucked into the book. Buddy, I got a studio cat trying to come up here. But yeah, so I will offer up any choices that I have, what those options are, what information I am given, and you guys can kind of help sway the decision. And if you, yeah, as John has put into the chat, please get those in quick. There is about a 30-second delay, I believe, between what I'm saying and when you hear it. So I will hold off for 30 to 45 seconds to wait for an answer. If I don't get one, I'll make a choice on my own. Frankly, if I don't like your answer, I might make my choice anyway. I don't think I've done that yet, though. But as we made decisions last week, we did a lot of trekking. Like I said, we went from summer into winter, or summer into autumn. And early on, like day one, we lost, it was like day 1 or 2, we lost our guide. Charlie Fox? Was that her name? I don't have all their character sheets anymore, but I lost my guide. She fell out of the boat, whacked her head, and died. No, Charlie, no. Is that copyright infringement? I hope not. And then we lost, at the same time, I believe we lost one of my other guys. There was Norman Faulkner, Sylvia Davidson, Bernard. I feel like there was one more person. Was there yet another? I thought I lost the third one because like one of them just suddenly disappeared. And I shot. Okay, I know what it was. Yes, we did just mysteriously lose Bernard. And it really never explained how or why. But yeah, we ran into something that Charlie called a puckwoogie, which I believe is a puckwudgie, which is I don't think it's a cryptid. It might be if someone in chat knows more about Native American cryptozoology or Native American lore, and also cryptozoology, might be able to tell me if a puckwudgie would be considered a cryptid. They're essentially, if J.K. Rowling is to be believed, they are the kind of the North American form of, or counterpart to goblins, to England and Europe's goblins. So, but they're little guys, kind of mischievous, and we got attacked by them. They like bow and arrowed us, didn't they? And then we got picked up by Sylvia Norman, and I got picked up by the local tribe, which was the Suina. I believe I kind of speak their language. Yeah, the Suina. And that didn't go well. We ended up having to escape that. And we ended up getting to a place where we found a valley that, if I remember correctly, had it was very warm. So it's cold where we were, but we found a very warm valley. I'm trying to get there. Oh, is that a picture of a puckwudgie? The puckwoogie as part of this. Gosh, I don't even know if you'll be able to see because of how it is, but that is what this particular artist and illustrator denotes as the puckwoogie. So yeah, he's just a little guy, kind of goblin-y. John, do you need this on, or are you good with that? Okay. So, let's see. I was on entry number 174 before our internet bombed out on us yet again. Let's see. Sorry, I just had a thought. Did we ever download your Alone Against the Flames adventure off of Twitch? I think I did. Huh? Oh, did we record it also? All right. So, yes, we found a fissure. So I'm going to read what happened in the fissure. I did roll really well, and I succeeded on getting into the fissure, I believe. So, and I was given a code word, but we're going to refresh. So the three of us found a fissure. It says, the three of you make it through the fissure safely. At your first breath of the interior air, you pause and wonder. Only in the tropics have you smelled air like this. The air is humid, thick with the odor of rapid decay. It takes no more than a few yards walk to see that the foliage around you is lush and utterly different from the growth of the taiga. You have heard theories, Crank, you thought, that there existed a boxed-in valley that trapped the warm Chinook winds. a valley irrigated and heated by volcanic waters. Under such special conditions, the climate might be held stable for millennia. That would account for the strange prehistoric flora. Could mammals from before the Ice Age also survive here? So, one thing I do want to point out about this, besides you guys getting to participate in the choices, is when it really wasn't related to that. I'm sorry, my brain went 2 different directions really quickly. I'm going to mispronounce things probably. There are a lot of words that I have seen written that I don't know if I've ever heard them spoken aloud. One of them in this particular passage was Chinook winds. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. It is not in an effort to be discourteous or insensitive. I just don't know a lot of... I'm not very well cultured, so I apologize in advance. But after that little interlude, it does say, record the word inch cape. Now, I do remember there was another part in the adventure, maybe when we were caught by the natives, that it said, if you have written down the word inch cape, go to a certain page. Hey, David, good to see you. So we got that written down. I don't remember where that was, and it may not come up again, but we have it. So, inch cape. To leave the valley in hopes of raising a serious expedition, go to 216, and to gather some specimens now, go to 225. So, the choice that is before me right now that I would love your help in deciding is, do we leave right now and with the hope that we can get back to civilization and get a larger group... Sorry, John, he just pulled down the internet box, but I haven't lost anything. Yeah, they like to get back there behind our dogs. We have a lot like to get behind the soundboard and sleep in the cables because it's about as close as they can get to me on that side. It's really strange. I don't know why they just don't go under the table like normal animals. But anyway, so the choices that are up to me are to leave the valley in hopes of raising a serious expedition. So essentially, we can try to get out of here, go back and tell people, hey, we found this fissure up in the Northwest Territories that seems to be heated by volcanic waters and irrigated and traps warm winds, and it's all this prehistoric fauna, or at least flora. We don't know anything about fauna, but we're wondering. Or we can stay, gather some specimens, which ultimately will probably entice somebody to definitely come back. So do we just go back and talk, or do we gather some specimens and linger? Yeah, so John is already voting for a stay. I'm kind of leaning towards stay myself. If I get one more person to say stay, or someone to tell me to get out of here, because we keep getting stuck places, we have 2 for stay, gather specimens. Okay, well, then we're going to go with that, and we're going to go... Sorry, I got eaten up by a mosquito, and it is itchy. So we're going to gather some specimens and go to entry 225. Let's see. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. 225. Sorry, y'all. It takes me a minute to sort through this. All right. I quickly confirmed the discovery of a redoubt. Redoubt? Is that a word? Somebody smarter than me? Redoubt, R-E-D-O-U-B-T. Like doubt, but again. I quickly confirmed my discovery of a redoubt of unprecedented prehistoric survival. Animal tracks attributable to no modern beast of the north abound in the sand and bubbly mud. However, my specialty is anthropology. My paleontological? Man. I know how to say paleontology. That's apparently as far as it gets. Paleontological study. We're just going to say that. My paleontological studies have been limited. So, I need to make a natural world roll. If I succeed, I go to 269, and if I fail, I go to 275. Now, last week, I do recall my mermaid dice were... Ooh, or was that Thursday? Oh, I believe it was these here. Let's give them a shot. Let's go ahead and pull up my little binky bink. Now you guys can see my dice tray. So my natural world score, for those of you that have not played the system before, I'm familiar with it. Call of Cthulhu is based on target numbers. I have percentages essentially in each of the skills that in all of the skills. And my percentage in natural world is 65. So on a set of D100s, or I've got a percentile die and a D10, then I essentially am aiming to hit 65 or below. Also in Call of Cthulhu, a regular success is being 65 or under. A hard success, which is a higher degree of success, is half of 65 or under, so it'd be 35 or below. And then additionally, a extreme success would be a fifth of my normal percentage, so I think I'm looking at 13. That seems to be 65 is a common number on my character sheets, and I believe 32 and 13 are my points there. So I'm just trying to get below a 65. Let's see what we got. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but I can, and that says 15. So I don't think it matters if I get an extreme success or not. So I am going to mark that on my sheet, though, even though this character probably isn't going to survive this evening. I am going to go ahead and put sorry, I was checking chat, and I saw that John was saying, of course, the biologist says to stay, and I thought David had given me was hoping somebody had given me an easy to pronounce way, or an easier way to pronounce paleontological, since I don't seem to know words. So I made my natural world roll, so I'm going to entry 269. And of course that hot link doesn't work, so I've got to just turn digital pages. Let's see here, because I know stuff about the natural world. While exploring the prehistoric glade, I chanced upon a stand of plants of the very species recently described in detail by my Miskatonic colleague, the paleobotanist Ivan Kurtov. The species was thought extinct before oh my goodness, here we go. I didn't go to college, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't know words. The species was thought extinct before the Pleistocene glaciations, yet here it is, all around me, still flourishing. I can easily take leaves, roots, cuttings, and seeds to convince Miskatonic's geology and botany departments to sponsor a major expedition. Excited, I packed the specimens and led my companions without mishap back to the outer valley of the North Hanana. So, I also now need to record the word backwater and go to entry number 217. Of course I can. I mean, really, it makes a lot of sense. I was leaning towards stay as well, David. So let's see. So I'm recording backwater. And let's go check out 217. Of course, that link doesn't work either. So flip. All right, 217. To exit the valley, the three of us must dare the dangerous waterway that brought us here. I lead the way, followed by Sylvia, and then Norman. Let me put their character sheets in order. They already are, just in case. I am to make a dexterity roll for each member of my party. If everyone succeeds, I go to one place. If I fail, go to another. And if both Norman and Sylvia miss it, I have to go to another one. And then I have additional ones for if each of them miss it individually. So, my dexterity is... what does this say? Of course, you can't go back without some samples. Hello, Matt. Good to see you, too. I've seen Up and What Happens to Explorers Without Proof, and that means whatever you find may be over 2 million years old. Does it? Interesting. Are you referring to the Pliocene glaciations? Is that what I was looking at? I don't know. The beginning of that word looked like also the same root word of Pleiades, so Pliocene glaciations? I don't know. All right. Dex roll. My dex is a whopping 70, which is not too shabby. I'm average. So let's see what happens. 38. I'll take it. So I succeeded. I'm just going to jot this down because my memory is not what it was a week ago. Let's see. So I made it. me, Sylvia. Does anybody know that song? Yes, Mickey. Sylvia. Nobody? Just me? Good to know. So then, let's see. So Sylvia's roll. I believe I gave Sylvia some pretty dice last week, and she was still sucking, so let's give her some different pretty dice. How about that? Let's try this little gold job. That's a good one. Thank you, David. Yes. Oh, love a boy. That's a great song, y'all. What did she get? She got a 25. Let's see what her deck score is. I guess that would have been good to know ahead of time. 65. So she also made it. Good for you, Sylvia. And then Norman. Norman's dex is the same as mine. What should Norman's dice be? I don't recall what I gave him. I think, though, that it doesn't matter. Sure. I hear you all saying that, but it matters to me. So he's going to get these. This actually might have been what I gave him last week. So we're rolling for under 70. Man, he got a 9. We all got out of that Fisher like it wain't no thing. Wain't no thing. Don't ask me what that is a conjugation of. Because, or a conjunction of. Because it doesn't matter. So, we all made it. Success all around. If everyone succeeds, go to 324. Boom, 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 boom. Sylvia. Let's see. What did I say? See, this is how fast I forget, y'all. This is how fast I forget. Did I say 384? 324? Do you remember what I said? That's how fast it goes. Boom, 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 boom. Going back to find out. There it is. 324. Maybe this link will work and I won't have to forget again. Oh, look, I can do this, though. This is much easier. All right, 324. The two students and I traveled over trackless woods on short rations. From day to day, the air cools as the short summer declines into the rugged subarctic autumn. Okay, so we've been here before, y'all. It's still declining into autumn. So we went one way. Do you all remember what we did? I kind of do. We can scale a ridge. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. You can follow the river, scale a ridge, thread through light woodland. I do remember us doing that, and it didn't end well. The Puckwudgies attacked us, and we had to run back. Penetrate deeper into the forest. Did we do that? I don't remember. Let's just choose it again. So, yes, we can climb a ridge, follow the river, go through the woodlands, penetrate deeper into the forest, concentrate on finding supply, or we can also concentrate on finding supplies. So, find supplies. I mean, we are living off of rations. Yes, thank you, Stephen. I thought we did. Was that in the woodlands where that happened? Or the ridge? I don't remember. I think it was the woodlands. But should we find supplies, follow the river? I was captured in the forest. Okay. Find supplies, woodland. When you're lost, you follow rivers, which is why you shouldn't do it. Because you're still lost when you do it. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's like survival.
101?
101. If you find the river, follow the river. You have a higher chance of finding people.
Do I have another? Okay, woodlands was goblins. Forest was the natives. John is voting for river. I do think we scaled the ridge too. I think we did a lot of these. But I do have keywords now, which is good. River. River supplies. Somebody got one more vote? I'd have 2 for river, 1 for supplies. Supplies. Okay. Well, now I need a tiebreaker. Let's go supplies. We haven't done it yet, is what John says. Oh, she does say I scaled the ridge. Okay, there we go. So we will go supplies. I need to make a luck roll. If I remember correctly, Dr. Elsie Nadelman actually was fairly lucky. Yeah, she's sitting at a 70, and that's after losing quite a bit. So, let's get old Norm's dice out of there and grab mine. 45, that is a success. So we're going to go to 654. Remember that, class? 654, because I might forget it. Let's see here. 654. This is a lengthy adventure. Lots of options. Lots of options. I'm only in the 500s. Still in the 500s. 654, I believe I said. Told you I'd forget. There we go. Thank you, Amanda. By a stroke of luck, our party stumbled upon an abandoned cabin stocked with rusty but edible tins of food. This happy discovery solved our food problem for the time being. There is no trace of the person who built the cabin, probably a prospector or hunter who fell victim to the hazards of the valley. I may make an improvement check for my luck score to gain 1d10 luck points. So, to make an improvement score, everyone, in this game system, I get to roll another luck roll, essentially, and I'm trying to get... Am I trying to get above? I'm making above my score. Matt, if you're still in the chat, confirm that. I believe I'm going above my luck score on this one to try to improve it. John says I'm correct. So, you know what? We're going to go with that because even though that's going to be difficult. But, Duke. Nope, that's a 59. So I do not get to improve my luck score. But now we're off to 77. Did I ever? Yeah, I'm in OneDrive. That's so strange. So strange, y'all. So strange. I wish this had more bookmarks. Anyway. Doo-doo-doo. One thing to remember if I ever publish an adventure like this and lay one out. All right, 77. The others and I made our beds in the decrepit shell of the old cabin. The sagging walls afforded some shelter from the chilly wind, though the condition of the roof makes me hope it doesn't rain. The frogs are noisy outside, but I think I hear something. I ask for silence and listen. There, the rustle of unsteady feet walking through the dead matting of the forest floor. I'm sorry, I didn't intonate that right. There, the rustle of unsteady feet walking through the dead matting of the forest floor. I tell my students to arm themselves before stepping outside. My rifle wavered. I see a white man. His beard is wild and greasy. He is naked except for rags wrapped around his feet and an animal hide tied about his waist. The crazed expression on his face worries me, but he carries no weapons. So I can either shoot the intruder. Point of order, I don't own this cabin. I didn't build this cabin. I'm the intruder for all I know. But I suppose possession is 9/10 or something. So I can shoot the intruder, or I can put aside my gun and help the wretch to the fire. I'm leaning towards helping him to the fire because he's not... I'm worried that he's nuts, but he's not doing anything, and... I mean, he looks like he's got it pretty rough already. Story time. Help him, help him. Wonder what stories he has to tell. Okay, let's see. I'm going to sip some water. 2 votes for helping. We were all dying anyway, Mr. Papin. All right, let's see here. So we're going to go ahead and help the wretch to the fire. Hey, look, that link worked. 175. I will survive. Hi, Sean. I didn't know you were here. Good to see you. I urge Sylvia to bring hot soup for the stranger. While I stand looking at him, unease builds in my stomach. His face is repulsive and oddly proportioned. So now I need to make an anthropology roll, and if I succeed, it's just a pass-fail kind of thing. So let's see here. Anthropology. As it is, I am an anthropologist. So I'm trying to make an 86 or less. That's a 19. That's pretty good. I'll take it. So I succeeded with a 19. Can you guys see that? There. Let me scoot that up. So 176. In a flash, I remember the legends of the Windwalker. Those who go mad in the Northland and become possessed by cannibal demons of the wild. I shook my head. I must be going woods happy to consider such nonsense. At that moment, Sylvia returns from the campfire carrying a bowl of broth for the stranger. He glances into the steaming bowl with a look of disgust and pushes it away, spilling some of the hot stuff on my student's leg. Okay, well, I'm going to shoot him now because he's being rude. The Windwalker is a creature of ice, you remember. Or I remember. It dares not drink anything so hot as the broth. So to slay the stranger immediately. Yes, Amanda, we actually had discussed earlier, I don't think you'd hopped in yet, but yeah, they've changed the name from Wendigo to Windwalker to be more sensitive because of its ties to First Nation or indigenous tribal culture and mythology. Let's see. Yeah, I just invited a Wendigo in. That's what I do here. That's what I do. To slay the stranger immediately, go to 177. If I need more proof that he is a Windwalker, go to 178. Do I just kill him, or do I wait? And I would like to point out that so far I am not alone. I have managed to keep 2 of my students alive. Slay Queen. Someday I'm gonna get some GIF action happening on these streams, and we'll show some slaying. Yeah, I'm leaning towards just shoot him at this point. I mean, it's what? It's the 20s or the 30s. No one's gonna find him out here. No one's probably gonna care. More time, please. What does that mean? Is this the end?
No, I said take me. I'm basically saying talk to him more.
Oh, I see. Proof? We need more proof? This does pose a good question. What are Sylvia and Norman going to think? I mean, yeah, the guy just spilled soup on Sylvia's leg, very hot soup, and she's going to have to sue him later and make him put a warning label on his actions. But she's not going to understand if I just like pow and put a bullet in his head. So we'll go ahead and no Seinfeld quotes on my chat. No, we'll go ahead and we will try to get more proof. Legend says that the Windwalker has strange feet. I let the suspect sleep. When I think he is deep in slumber, I crept toward him. To get the proof I need, I must merely open the bandages and examine his feet without waking him. Okay, well, here's the deal. I can make a sleight of hand roll. 10%. I'd have to roll a 10 or less to make that sleight of hand roll. And I don't have another option. So I can either pass the sleight of hand check or not. So are you Amanda, were you voting for shoot him? Because I would have happily shot him. Okay. Guess I'm going to try to make this sleight of hand roll. What? What did Pappin say? Just subscribe to his OnlyFans to see his feet. That's true. This is the era of OnlyFans. Now, I do want y'all to see I rolled a 15. I need to get a 10 or less. I have 70 points in my luck. I'm going to spend some of those luck points, as we discussed last week, is a thing that I can do to push that into a success range. Let's see here. So, in Call of Cthulhu, you have a luck score. That luck can be spent on any roll except for combat rolls, or anything in combat, to 1 for 1. reduce the result of the die. So I got a 15. I needed a 10 or less. I'm going to go ahead and spend 5 points to take that down to a 10. So that takes me down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I now have 65 luck points, but I think that is luck well spent to not wake up this perhaps scary monster stranger. So yes, I succeeded. We're going to pay to entry 204. 204. Luck! I parted the bandages without waking the sleeper. So, now, interestingly enough, I need to roll a d6. Let's pick a good one, hey? This one, I think, will be the one. If the result is 1 to 4, I go to entry 205, and if the result is 5 or 6, I go to 180. So let's see here. I rolled a 3. So, that falls into 1 through 4, so I'm going to 205. You ready for this? I happened to read the first line as I glanced. He has no feet, only blackened bestial hooves. He is no longer human, but a horror masquerading in a human body. He must be destroyed before he consumes the rest of us. I remember the legends that I've heard about the Windwalker. To kill such a beast, its icy heart must be melted. I stole back to the fire, grabbed a stiff burning brand, and crept back to the monster. So now I need to make a stealth roll. If I succeed, I get to go to 140. If I fail, I go to 141. Not thrilled about this number either, y'all. That stealth roll is, I got to make a 20 or less. So thankfully I got a butt ton of luck. Let's see what happens. You know what? It's a 31. I still feel comfortable spending 11 points of luck to make that stealth roll. So I'm going to do it. This adventure actually, as John told us last week, this adventure actually calls for, actually reminds you to use your luck. So, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That next luck roll is going to be a little more difficult to make. I'm down in the 50s, but that's still not bad. So I succeeded. Let's go to entry number 140. 140. If we can. PDF. Let's see here. He's scary looking. Keep passing scary art. The impaled creature gurgles and goes stiff. As I watch in amazement, his body shrinks and collapses in upon itself. Soon, nothing is left but the bones, as though he had no real flesh to him. Norman and Sylvia and I must begin the long retreat back to Fort McDonald. So, I get to gain 1d6 sanity for triumphing over the Windwalker. Woo! This might be a short evening, y'all. John was worried last week that we were going to finish it and might have to go back and redo parts of it. But the internet then bombed out. Well, and last week we also had to kind of build a character. So 1d6, I got a 6. So I gained 6 points of sanity. I am so freaking sane, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am now at 86 points of sanity. I have never played a character with over 50 points of sanity, to my knowledge. I don't remember what my character had in sanity last week, but not this one. I was in another Call of Cthulhu game. But so now I'm going to entry number 54. I don't know if it says I won. It just says that I killed the Windwalker. Be there another one? Do you guys hear triumphant music? What triumphant music yonder doth break? Is that how you say things in that way? So I'm looking for entry number 54. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. The forge so far has been adequate to sustain the three of us, but it is no small undertaking to march over more than 100 miles of virgin wilderness. We've been here before. We ain't won yet. Sometimes the banks of the North Hanana are too swampy or too sheer to follow. Our party must cross canyons and deep woods without losing our bearing. So, I believe that essentially is the river thing. Let's see here. Y'all, I just accidentally glanced at another entry, and I kind of want to get to that one, but I have no idea how to get there. And if we don't, I'll mention it later. But just remember 57. Just remember 57. So we must cross canyons and deep woods without losing our bearings. So 324, believe we've been here. I believe this is going to ask us if we want to scale a ridge, go into the woodlands. Let's see. I kind of think we're just going to have to go back and do some of the stuff that we did before since it keeps taking us to this same area. I'm in a loop. I feel like I'm stuck in some sort of like, I've been watching a lot of Star Trek lately. I feel like I'm stuck in a time loop. Let's see here. 324. Yeah, we'll look at 57 at the end of the adventure. So 324. Yeah, it's the rugged subarctic autumn again. So, I think I'm going to scale a ridge or go to the woodland or go to the forest. Let's do the forest because I believe one of our chat members, I believe it was Mr. Steven, had indicated that perhaps it was the forest where we got captured by the indigenous tribe, the Tsu'ina. Let's see if we can't do that again. Let's go get captured, y'all. 557. 557. 557. 557. To avoid a riverside marsh, we waved through a forest of mature larch. Oh yeah, I remember that word because I didn't know what larch was. Apparently it's a tree type. The uneven terrain makes me wish that Charlie was still with our party. I do wish that Charlie was still with the party because she could speak the native language and she knew her way around. And she knew what a puckwoogie was. I'll forever be grateful. So, I can attempt a track roll. If I succeed, I move on, and if I don't, I move on to somewhere else. It's probably less pleasant. So, tracking. My tracking score is a whopping 10. I apparently made it in time past, though. So, let's see. Pretty sure I can't use none of my other people. It looks like Norman is a little better at tracking, but I'll just do mine. 29 on track. My track is 10. I didn't make it. Let's see what happens. 569. Whoa. Yeah, okay, I failed. We made progress through the large forest. Now I'm going to attempt a listen roll. If I succeed, and if I fail. So let's see. My listen is a 65%. I just threw my dice across the table. 65 or less. That is a 3. Just, maybe I can show you that, y'all. That is a 0, 0, and a 3. That is pretty darn good. It doesn't matter in this game. I wish it did. I succeeded. Let's go to 581. Interesting. We heeded the warning and ducked behind a large fallen tree. Several men emerged from the trees to the west. I recognized native hunters, probably of the Tsu'ina. However, their rifles are antique and their gear less sophisticated than the Tsu'ina I have met before. Charlie said something about an outcast group. Could these be the hunters she mentioned? All right, so I can stride out of cover and greet them. I remember all this. Or we can stay hidden and have to roll for the least stealthy member of the party. Currently, the least stealthy among us is me. Who had a mean right hook? Who had a mean right hook? Charlie did? Oh, yeah, she did. That's right. Yeah, she bruised people who, like, made fun of her and stuff. So I am the least stealthy. Are we trying to hide? Or am I just going to stride out and announce my presence as the, as someone of that age and era may do? I believe last time I had to roll for stealth and I failed, and they were like, whoa, and caught me. So I'll wait a moment. Tried and failed last time, so what are we going to do this time? I know what you meant, and I know that you mean defeated. But I prefer the idea that seduction roll. I prefer the idea that I made the Windwalker defect and join civilization. There is a balcony walker high above me at the moment, and he's going to eat my Battlestar Galactica poster. He's in a mood. All right, so we're gonna just announce ourselves. Let's see. Well, I appreciate that, Pat. I'm going to step out. Let's give it a shot. Either way, likely it's going to both end with me getting caught. So 560. 560. I'm going to step out and introduce myself. At the first sight of me, the men raised their weapons and advanced. So I can make a gesture signifying peace and stand my ground, or I can run. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Pap, and I get autocorrected about stuff all the time. And it's like, why I used a real word? Why change it to another real word? So, thoughts? Am I running away because they're coming at me with weapons? Or shall I give them the finger? Well, and then run? Oh, is that a peace gesture? I have had, this is kind of off topic, but I have had scenes from Romeo and Juliet stuck in my head, or like they'll just crop up at different times, and yes, I mean the 1997 Baz Luhrmann vomit of color that was the Leonardo DiCaprio and who was it? Claire Danes, Juliet, Romeo and Juliet, and. Every time, and so peace. I'm not seducing them. I'm not that kind of professor. But every time I see peace, I just think of I think it's John Leguizamo. I can't remember what his character's name was, but peace. I don't know the meaning of the word. He's very that accent that he has. Anyway. So I am giving them a gesture of peace, which is 561. Remember, I do know a smidge of the language. So I urge Norman and Sylvia to make no aggressive moves. Just stay. The hunters press in around us and take the rifle from my hand and the knife from my belt. The students get the same treatment. I tell the hunters I mean no harm, and I keep my voice even. I manage to stay calm. One of the hunters speaks in his tribal tongue, and I have enough of his language to interpret it as silence or some variation. The captors took the three of us down to the spot where we first sighted them. So 562, next entry. There we go. When we arrived there, I found we are not the only prisoners of this particular band. A girl, perhaps of the same community, rests behind a tree trunk, bound hand and foot. The leader of the hunters fires gruff instructions to his men. His words are too rapid for my slim knowledge of the dialect, but the subsequent actions are clear. The girl is quickly freed from her bonds, rubbing her wrist to restore the circulation. She is wordlessly accepted back into the clan's ranks. So, I get to roll a solitary d10. If the result is even, I go one place, and if the result is odd, I go somewhere else. So let's see. I rolled a 9. Odd. Just like me. And I need to go to 566 for the odd result. The hunters produced enough cords to bind all three of us and then placed each of us against a tree, lashing us to the trunk. Their mysterious work done, they packed up their simple gear and abandoned the spot. I waited for a few minutes before beginning to struggle against my bonds. A part of me finds this professionally fascinating, but I will have to get free if I wish to publish these findings. So, I need to make an extreme dex roll. Extreme! Again, my dexterity is 70, and I need to make it for everybody present. If any of us succeed, we go to one place, and if not, yeah, and so if none of us do, I go to a different. So let's see here. I'm going to start with me. Gotta make a 70. I got a 26. We're all good. I remember this. As long as one of us gets free, we're fine. So, I worked a wrist out of my bindings, and I was able to free the others. It seems inadvisable to linger. The three of us decide our next course of action, so we can continue to explore the region or try to go home. Do I wish to continue? John, stop being weird in chat. I can't take him anywhere. I haven't even taken him anywhere. This is just my house. Continue searching. I got to vote for continue. Tybalt. That's probably who he played, yeah. David, yep. I think you're right. I also remember Mercutio was played by the guy who played Michael on Lost. You know, Walt! And in Romeo and Juliet, he also just sits and screams, Plague! Plague on both your houses! I think that guy just gets hired to scream at things. He was on something else recently, and I can't remember what it was, and he didn't scream, and I felt gypped. So we're continuing. I don't, Sean, I don't remember, and I don't remember what role Tybalt was. And now we're just quoting Shakespeare, I guess. Let's see. You guys would be so impressed by everything that I say these days is in fair Verona or in fair wherever where we lay our scene. It's been a number of places. 600. We pressed on through the interminable landscape of North Hanana. If you have the keyword Inchcape, we do. Go to 601. All right. I don't know why. I don't. Inchcape. Let's go this way. But, so, I led my 2 graduate students upriver. The expedition needed something to boost its morale. So, now we can... Really? That it? That it? Is it going to give me the same options? Just a second. I'm comparing. We're not going back into the forest. We did that. Scale a ridge. Follow the river. Ooh, is that a new entry to follow a river? I think it is. Or we can search for shelter. So, I'm going to say no, we're not going to go through light woodland. Well, I guess we could, but it's going to take us to the same place. The forest is going to take us back to what we've already just done. We can scale a ridge and go 469, which is the same ridge that we could have scaled before. We can follow the river, go to 470, or we can search for shelter and make a navigation roll. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. But where shall I go now? I know all these parts now for Romeo and Juliet. Tybalt is Juliet's cousin, and he killed Mercutio, who then cursed the Capulets, I believe, he cursed everybody. He was like, plague on both your houses. Plague. Welcome to Call of Verona. Man, could we make that? Could we make a Call of Cthulhu set in, was that Italy? France? I don't know. I don't know my Shakespeare, y'all. Shelter? I'm down with shelter. Let's do it. So, to search for shelter, make a navigate roll. Let's check my navigation. My navigate is only a 28, but it could be worser. My people's is only 10, so let's see what happens. Ooh! I rolled a 92. We're not finding anything. You know, that can't see the forest for the trees? I can't see any of them. Oh, we got some music back. 92. Okay, so I failed. Go to 55. I feel like we've been to 55 before, y'all. I'm just going in a circle. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. You know, it would have been, this is another thing, note to self, if I ever lay out one of these, when I put in the entry, if I'm not going to create links that work, I'm going to put page numbers down for stuff like this. Because it is a chore to find all these. The legendary mists of the North Hanana press in. By day, I cannot see the sun, and by night, the stars are obscured. Some magnetic anomaly also affects my compass. Whether it is the proximity to the pole or some other reason, I cannot say, but our party has gotten itself lost, and I have no idea in which direction the river lies. So I can make a luck roll. Let's see what happens. Remember, my luck is considerably lower now. I started the episode at, I believe, 86, 85, and I am now down to, I started the episode at 70, and I'm now down to 54. And I rolled an 82, so I can't spend luck on a luck roll. So that's another one I guess you can't spend luck on. So I failed. Let's go to 132. Southern yeah, so about that, Mr. Pappin, yeah, my last Call of Cthulhu character was from Savannah, Georgia, and so I find myself getting sucked back into that that dialect every now and again. It does happen. 132. Sorry, I forgot what number I was again. 132. Goodness, so many page flips. The worst fear of the northern wayfarer has befallen my group. Hunger. We did our best to forage food, but the pickings are scant when it comes to filling 3 bellies. So now I need to make a survival woodland roll, and if I succeed, I can go to 54, and if I fail, I go to 197. So my survival is not very good either. It is a whopping 28%. Let's see what we can make happen here. That is a 72, so again, I failed. Y'all, we might just starve out here. 197. It's another reason why I have the dice cam, so I can't fudge rolls. If we decide as a group, as an audience and an adventurer, that we want to retcon and go back a few steps and try again, we'll do that. What did I say? I have already forgotten what number I said. This is terrible, y'all. My brain is useless. I think it was 132. Yeah, I'm going to 197. Starvation sets in. Day after day, Norman and Sylvia stagger after me like wan ghosts. I hate that word, sorry. The hungry, or Wayne ghosts? I hate that word. The hungry and active nights are the worst of all. As the 3 of us lie in misery on beds of cut boughs, I begin to believe there is a presence in camp. A thing of spirit that cannot be seen or touched. The temperature drops precipitously, frosting the needles of the tamarics around me. So now I need to make a POW roll for each member, which is our power, which is essentially... POW is kind of interesting. I think it's more like willpower, I think is what it is, essentially. So for me, first, it actually says me first. I rolled a 41. My POW is 80, so I'm good. Well, at least for that. And then it says to roll for Norman. Norman's POW is 75. He makes it with a 66. And then Sylvia has a POW of 80 as well. Wait, no, that's mine. My POW is 80. Sylvia's is 70. Norman's was 75. Yeah, okay, that's what I said. So Sylvia's a 70. She makes it with a 49? Yeah, 49. All right, so we all made it. 198. The oppressive feeling lifts, but our hunger remains. The next day, Sylvia becomes too weak to proceed. I can only try to keep her comfortable. With fluttering fingers, she beckoned me close and whispered a few words to be relayed to her mother if I ever make it home. An hour later, she is gone. Norman and I have no choice but to go on our weary way alone. Well, that stinks. Sorry, Sylvia. Now, if I go back and it puts me on some loop and it says the three of us, I'm going to be like, y'all, do this a little better. Have them battle to the death and eat the loser. Well, they didn't have to do that. 297 is where I'm going. So if in 2 seconds I say, which one did I say? Just yell at me and say, 297, you dummy. All right, 297. The game trails are empty. The berries, so abundant earlier, have withered and dropped off the branches. The threat of starvation is real. So again, I need to make a survival roll. Whew, y'all. I think we gonna starve out here. Oh, I got a 22. I got a 22 under 28. We succeeded. So where did it go? 513 if I succeed. 513. 5 and 13. 5 and 13. 5 and 13. All right. It is time to decide the course of our expedition. Fort McDonald lies within my reach, and I may go there to end my experience in the North Hanana. If I still have an appetite for exploration, I may take a short side trip or even strike back out into the depths of the valley. So, I can return to the fort, take a side trip, and if my party still has at least 3 members, we may return to the wilds. I don't want to return to the wilds. So do we want to go to the fort? Could y'all just stop flirting and chat? We all know you're getting married. It's fine. Keep your Bob Ross hard-eyed gifs or emojis out of my chat. I'm joking. So, do we want to EIEIO? That's what I've got. I've got 2 votes for Fort McDonald. Or we could take a side trip. I mean, Norman and I just about starved to death and we just lost Sylvia. But do we think this is the end? Do we think this is where it'll stop? That's 3 votes for Fort. Oh, I got a vote for side trip. You're currently outnumbered. Currently outnumbered, but like I said, man, there's so many things in here. So remember, it was 57 that I wanted to. It's funny, I can remember that. The one that I wanted to go back to, but it's not one that I've ever had to turn to. And now 517, which I'll remember because it still has 57 kind of in there. It's 517. They also have something that sounds kind of cool. I think we're going to go to the fort. I think I'm leaning heavy on Fort McDonald. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we got 4 votes for fort. We're going to fort. 593. Oh, my gosh. Look at all them animals running. Y'all, there's a picture in this book. Is that a woolly mammoth? I think it's supposed to be a woolly mammoth. I thought it was an elephant at first, and I was like, where in the heck am I? Oh, but I forgot my number now. That's all it takes. Was it 5 something? I don't remember where I was now. Oh, I was near 517. God, I am the worst. I don't even have ADD. Let's see here. Fort McDonald was 593. We passed the place of splitting water with no particular difficulty and reached the calmer waterways of the West Branch. The foraging is ample now, and we recovered strength as we draw near to Fort McDonald. 433. 433, 433, 43433. 433, 433, 4433, 4433. Hey, it worked, I remembered. After so many days on the river and nights in the woods, it feels strange to sit in a stifling room and answer questions about our conduct. If you have lost any members of your party, or have confirmed their death. Multiply the number of such losses by 15. This is my liability score. Okay, so if you have lost any members of your party or have confirmed their death, which I know Sylvia died, we know Charlie died, Bernard just disappeared. So I guess I have to count all three of them? Even though because it says or have confirmed their death. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think it counts as all three. So 3 times 15 takes me to 45, if my math is correct. So my liability is now 45. Excuse me. Now I need to roll a D100. And I'm trying. I need to, it depends on if I get higher or lower, depends on our next move. I rolled a 32, so I rolled lower than my liability score. If the result is equal or less to my liability score, go to 531. 531, 531, 531, 153, 153, 153, 153, 153, 1. 531. I almost forgot it, and I had just said it. When my report of my party's misfortunes is analyzed by the Canadian authorities, they take me into custody and bring formal charges against me. They seem uninterested in any evidence of my discoveries. 538. My trial lasts weeks, during which every field decision I made is questioned. It is almost a relief when I am convicted of gross negligence and contributory manslaughter. I'm incarcerated in a Canadian penitentiary where I become withdrawn and isolated, staring from my cell at distant woodland. A year later, I become eligible for parole, and the committee looks favorably on my conduct. Once I'm free to leave Canada, I return to a ruined career in the United States. I've lost my position at Miskatonic University. The evidence I brought back from my expedition has been neglected during my confinement, and all the most important pieces have been lost or ruined. Nevertheless, I attempt to publish my findings. My article only draws sensational press attacks characterizing me as a moral cretin, willing to sacrifice human life for scientific glory. I vanished from public notice with the dawning of the Great Depression. The Nadelman expedition is over. The end. It's not triumphant. Why am I getting triumphant horns? I did the best that I could. I just have to say, I did everything that I could have done. It's not my fault that people fell out of the boat. I tried to forage, and we failed. I'll admit. My survival skills are not that great, but I hired a guide because I knew that. My guide just died first. So, but we killed a windwalker, y'all. So, maybe Olathakwa had to go make another one. It's all the guide's fault. I wonder if I'd gotten higher than my liability score. But anyway, 517. I'm going to go back because it is kind of early, but I'm going to go back and read the last thing that I saw that sounded kind of interesting. But yeah, no, I was looking at this picture. This distracted me at one point. I did try. Thank you. I did try. This distracted me at one point because it's a bunch of creatures, a bunch of little critters, being all critter-like, you know, running away from something. Probably a windwalker. But it was 517, and apparently at some point I get attacked by fungoid creatures. Fungoid? Another pronunciation guide. Scientists, help. Fungoid with a g, or fungoid with a g. Is it a moving image on the internet, G, or is it a very popular peanut butter brand, G? Fungoid. We got, the biologist says fungoid with a hard G. The fungoid creatures seem content to kill you by indirect fire. So something was just going to like open up and probably spore bomb us. Let's see. But the other one, I read 57, because I do remember that still for some stupid reason, which I never got to, referred to another battle that sounded pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. We probably would have died horribly. Where is it? Oh my goodness, there's so many entries. I will say, I think we could have had some interesting interactions and roles if we had failed our escape rolls when the Tuina had captured us. Because I think, based on some of the artwork that I did find in here, or as I was flipping through, based on some of the artwork, I'm pretty sure we would have been sacrificed or attempted, they would have attempted to sacrifice us to the Windwalker. And there was some pretty interesting artwork that I saw in here for that as well. But entry number 57, we're in the middle of, apparently we fire some shots into a crowd, apparently more than one, of Sasquatch. The shots throw the Sasquatches into a panic. They respond with piercing shrieks and then duck out of sight. Your party scrambles past and leaves the valley of prehistoric survivals. So apparently there was some Sasquatch down in that valley. That kind of would have been neat. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, man, I'm learning all kinds. Apparently, at some point you can track Bernard. I wonder how. Interesting. I wonder if the side quest would have taken us to Bernard. Wonder if I can find where it told me to go on that side quest again, and if we choose to go on the side quest instead. Wah 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 wah. Don't ask me why, that is in my head. Where was... You guys, you may know me well enough to know that I have an illustration that I use for the things that my brain conjures up sometimes. And the illustration is that there's this jukebox in the warehouse of my mind that a little girl in a red and white corduroy dress runs up and down the halls of, and she punches random numbers every time she passes the jukebox, and you never know what's coming out of my mouth when it comes to songs. It's because I just switched from, I don't even remember what I was singing first, but I was singing something, and then that last song was kind of part of a foreign Christmas song. That's my head. 434. There it is. So there's my liability score. Oh no, let's go back to 593. Where did that come from? Sorry, I'm looking for this side quest while I sit here and sing to myself. 513. Let's do 603. Let's try that because it's closest. Not that one. That wasn't where I was. But there is time for one last side trip in hopes of learning a little more about the North Hanana Valley. If I still have all my companions, I don't. If I still have my 3 graduate students, I don't. If I have Norman, Sylvia, and Charlie, I don't. If I have 2 companions, I don't. If I have 1 companion, go to 279. 279. I am flipping pages like Commander Data. 279? Is that what I said? 279, 279. Come on. Find it. The journey before I and Norman promises to be long and hard. So apparently Norman is always going to be the one that gets out with you. If either of you require healing, we may restore 1 hit point each. We don't. We never took hits. So I may be a liability, and we may be hungry, but nobody ever got hurt and lived to need healing. So to strike as direct a route as possible, go to 295. To hold parallel to the river's course, to search for existing trails, to explore rocky terrain, to camp first and regain a little strength, roll luck. So, do we want to do this side step? Do we want to do a side quest real fast and pretend like I'm not a liability and didn't die? I mean, we could stop now. It's fine. I just kind of wanted to know what the side quest is. Or side trip. I don't know, I know, I think I'm still going to fight things in this area, but... Or do you want to hold off in case somebody wants to do this adventure by themselves later?
Honestly, I'd say go ahead and do it, 'cause I think this takes place after the
Yeah, it does. No, I had the option to do a side trip or go to the fort, and we all chose to go to the fort. Want me to try it?
Yeah, correct.
So, do I want to hold a parallel to the river, look for trails, explore rocky terrain, or camp first and regain a little strength? Any suggestions? Any suggestions from my gallery of voters? I do appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. I was actually in the middle of saying that last week when our internet bombed, or when I realized it did, so I didn't get to thank you all for coming. And you all have tuned me out. No, you've all turned out again tonight, and I really, really do appreciate it. This is a pretty fun little show, and it is all the more fun because people are here to play with us. All right, so I got 2 good votes for the river. Let's do it. So we're going to go to number 280. While trying to keep a parallel course to the North Hanana, I and Norman are forced to cross through hot springs and ravines. Around a bend, I hear a bizarre humming sound. To go forward and investigate this humming sound, or I can retreat into a nearby cave to hide. So how skittish am I? Am I like, whoa, I've lost 3 people. That's fine. I mean, that's what it says it sounds like. I hope y'all can hear all that sound effects that he's been doing. But do I hide or do I push forward? I got 1 vote for the cave. I kind of think that we're gonna be a little scared. So I may make an executive decision on that one and also agree with Sean and go with cave. So we're gonna try retreating into a nearby cave to hide. Entry number 333. Whoa. Sorry, decided to switch apps on me. Let's see, 333. Huddled in dank darkness, the 2 of us hid from the creatures outside. We heard many pairs of strange feet scuttling close by. So I can make a stealth roll for Norman and myself, and if we both succeed, I move on. So, let's make this stealth roll. So me first. Again, my stealth is a whopping 20%. I rolled a 20 exactly. I hope y'all can see that. I ain't lying. I'm gonna just mark my little stealth here, because I made it. I also made a survival roll earlier, didn't I? I did indeed. And then for Norman rolled a 74. I'm pretty sure that's a failure. Yeah. I mean, he failed. Norman did not succeed. So, if we both succeed, go to 1, and if one of us fails, if either of us fail, we heard an unearthly crackle. A blast of cold swept through the darkness and numbs one side of my face. Norman scrambles away into the depths of the cave. To fight it out with the bizarre intruders, so I can fight it out, or I can bolt from the cave and abandon it. Bye, y'all. So, we already know that if my liability goes up any higher and I roll below it, I'm going to go to jail. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point if I abandon him or not. But it's his loud butt that got us caught by what sounds like, if my lore and my memory serves, is a Thakwa. So there be dinosaurs out there, y'all. So yeah, am I abandoning my student, or am I gonna fight it out with the bizarre intruders? Anyone? kind of want to fight it out. Why not? Vote for fight. Five, four. Okay, I got 2 votes for fight. We're fighting. So that's entry number 380. I mean, I do have 2 weapons still. We exchange salvos with the strange entities. It seems they must come quite close to use the full effect of their cold beam projectors. So each of us with a rifle. Does old Norman have a rifle? No, Norman has a hatchet. So each of us with a rifle may fire 3 times at normal range before I become too numb from the indirect fire of the alien weapons. If I score 3 hits, or if we score 3 hits between the 2 of us, we get 1 score, and if you do not, we are rendered unconscious. So I guess I'm the only one that can fire with a gun. So here we go. My gun score is 65. I have a 30-06 bolt-action rifle. I rolled a 3. That's pretty stinking good. So that's 1 success. Should count as 2 in my opinion, but what do you know? Then I rolled a 12. That's also pretty stinking good. That is another extreme success. And so 1 more. That is a 61. That's a regular success, which I am making it at regular range. So we're well good. If we make 3 hits, which we did, we move on to 381. So finally, the fight is over. I went to check the bodies and found them to be pink fungoid crustaceans of great size. So we found our fungoids, y'all. Fungoid crustaceans. So tell me if I'm wrong. Is that kind of like that Pokemon? Is that like a Paris? Isn't he a fungoid crustacean or is he a bug? Is he a crab? He looks like a crab with a mushroom on his back. Anyway, let's see. From the way they fought, they must have been intelligent indeed. My scientific excitement began to rise. What specimens they will make. Unfortunately, a strange deterioration sets into their bodies, and by midday there is nothing left of them but slime. So I'd get to gain 1d6 sanity. I'm just gaining sanity left and right. That's another 4 points of sanity. I'm just defeating things. I got 90 sanity now, y'all. I don't know what to do. Well, I know he was a bug type, but crustaceans are like the bugs of the sea, are they not? Anyway, I'm just making an excuse. So, and I go to 513. 513. Almost there. It is time to decide the course of our expedition. Fort McDonald lies within my reach. So, we could return to the wilds. Or do we just want to... So that was my side trip, was to go and deal with the fungoids. Interesting. Have we been to 425 before? I just want to know. 425. Norman is fine. I saved him. Well, apparently, the option for going back into the wilds doesn't have an option that fits my current party because it says if the expedition still has all its personnel, which I don't. If the only 2 students remain, they don't. I only have 1. If Charlie alone has been lost or if Bernard alone has been lost. So we're probably about as far as we can go in this. But that was alone against the frost. We slayed a windwalker. We slayed some fungoid creatures. We collected some samples. It doesn't matter because I go to jail because I am a liability for losing not only the guide but 2 of my students. So never again shall I lost my position. All my samples, the good parts got ruined. Never found a Sasquatch or a group of them to fight. But as far as I know, Norman's fine. He didn't get to go to jail. Or he didn't go to jail. I got to go to jail. I was safe in there. Ithaqua couldn't find me. But so yeah, this is Tomes of Isolation. We have, what is the next one? The Unlit Beacon or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and put your mic on, John, if you want to put it down in front of your face.
I got it here in front of me.
There you go.
How's it going, everyone?
John is off camera. You just get to look at me while he talks. So
yeah,
you
get the pretty part of us.
So answer
Okay.
questions, John. Answer questions.
So as far as missions that we have available, we have Alone Against the Flames, we have Alone Against the Frost, and we have Alone Against the Dark, which will be probably be the next one if we want to stick with Call of Cthulhu.
I'm liking it, but I also really like Call of Cthulhu.
So all these adventures are set up for the solo play. Now, Alone Against the Dark, I believe, is a very unique one because it is actually developed, and I'll need to double check, but I believe it's developed to actually be a campaign.
Interesting.
Like a single player campaign.
So let's just look at it real fast in case I decide I want to do this one too. Alone Against the Dark, Defying the Triumph of the Ice. So more cold stuff, more dark cold stuff. It is more pages. It's about twice as long.
The way that they described that one is that it was set up to to be ran over a longer period of time. I don't know how much longer. It might just be like an extra 4 hours worth of material. Let me just actually go into it. Yeah, it's set up pretty much the exact same way.
Ooh, it's interesting. It is different.
Mm-hmm.
It is different. So we'll have to look at that. There are handouts, so we would need to do some
Prep
as
work
much
for that
as
one.
I would love to play all of our Cthulhu adventures, I worry that it might need some production, so I might have to run the computer instead. But it looks like a lot of fun. We also have one in here, John, and I don't know if it's not for this, but you also have the Lightless Beacon.
Okay, so the Lightless Beacon recently came out in the last year or so.
And the lights went out, and it's it looks cool.
It was a free mission put out in the last week to honor Greg Stafford since he passed this last year.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes, let's do it. Let me grab that.
He was a big part of Chaosium, was he not?
He was the founder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you listen to like the most recent postings from Sandy Peterson, Sandy's talking about the importance that Greg had on the entire, business.
Okay.
But no, Greg was amazing. And
looks like he died 2 years ago because this was released as the first Greg Stafford Day, which was in October of 2019.
Yeah. But so that was one of them. And then...
so that one looks cool. It's a lighthouse. It's as always, the art that they get. I love the art style for the Call of Cthulhu games. Whoever Chaosium uses, I'm sure it's a host of artists, but its cover art was Victor Liza. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Now the other side of it is that we could also go ahead and do Alone Against, or not Alone Against. So Dark Eye, which is a fantasy game from Germany. Some people kind of consider it kind of the German Pathfinder equivalent, not so much Dungeons and Dragons. They put out 2 solo missions. The first one is The Vampire of Havana, which I understand is a very lethal game.
Hey, I play Call of Cthulhu all the time.
You're essentially a rogue running through a city trying to get away from a vampire that's pursuing you. Okay. And the other one that they have is called A Conspiracy of Mages, which has a very Dragon Age kind of feel to it. It takes...
Oh, are there like apostates and stuff like that?
Well, it takes place in a tower, a mage tower, where you have been sent to train, and you wake up and find that magic has gone crazy and that the barrier between worlds has fallen, and it's all about surviving as a young mage.
Y'all, I love me some Dragon Age, and the very first time, Mooncrow in chat can attest to this, the very first time I played Dragon Age, guess what I played? A mage.
Yeah.
And I remember it distinctly because at the beginning of the second game, because the Grey Warden, or at the beginning of it was DLC. It was essentially an expansion. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was the. I don't remember. It started with an A. Maybe the Abomination or something like that. But anyway, at the beginning, somebody threw a fit because the Grey Warden was an apostate, and we were like, "Who pronounces apostate apostate?" And I still don't know if I'm right or wrong in that.
No, it's apostate.
But so that sounds kind of cool too. We've never gotten to play the Dark Eye.
Yeah.
It's pretty crunchy to create characters, but I was also trying to create something. I had a concept that the core book did not have not necessarily an archetype, but it didn't have the thing that I was trying to create exactly, and I'm not familiar enough with the system, because it's like a huge point by system. I mean, you have 218 points. It's kind of like Call of Cthulhu, where you're trying to spread out amongst all these things.
Call of Cthulhu, and a little bit like Shadowrun, where you have tons of points, and character creation can be such an undertaking.
Yeah. So it does sound fun to play, especially with pre-gens.
Yeah.
And as long as, we take some time. So I don't know if any of you would like to play in this and you have a webcam. We know if Sean, you're still out there. David, I know you're still out there. If this is something that you guys would like to hop in on a Tuesday night, I know we all have a ton of stuff going on. But would love to have some other faces on here. And if... honestly, if you just think that I'm just the greatest thing and want to see me do this more, then just tell John and he'll let me do it. So, he doesn't mind looking at my face for 2.5 hours on a Tuesday.
Oh, no.
But
not at all.
No, if they can't flirt, you can't flirt. But thank you all for joining us tonight. Do come back next week. We should be back at 7 p.m. We're going to keep this up. This is a show that John had been talking about for a while. Quarantine is not the only reason that we did this, although it gave us kind of the ability to do something a little bit more. But yeah, let us know. Pardon me. Let us know what you'd like to see. You can hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, all the places. My Twitter handle is @Roowerks, ROOWERKS. John's is @Passionerdly, PASSIONERDLY. And you can also find us at Quiett Gentleman Entertainment on the Facebooks, and our illustrious leader Matthew Quiett can be found on Twitter when he's there at @Quiett. And I believe that's it. So thank you all for coming out. I think I know everybody in the chat, and so I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for helping us complete this mission, this adventure, and we will have another one next week in Tomes of Isolation. Have a good night, y'all. Bye-bye.